Hey everyone, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you step by step how you can paint this gorgeous rainbow landscape. It's all rainbow, 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 somewhere over the rainbow. Wonderful. I think so perfect for the last painting of 2022 that we're doing. I thought it was just a perfect way to kind of go out and be just joyfully. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to make sure that as I'm explaining and teaching this class that you're able to see everything by pointing one of our robotic cameras in, zooming in when necessary, making sure you can see the paint palette mixes that are happening. Sometimes we catch questions from the chat. So if you have a question for the live or even after, in the live, put it all in caps. And for sure, one of the moderators will help you. You might get your question answered live on the show. If you come here on the replay, because you're like, I have to paint this rainbow landscape. Welcome, by the way. You just put that in the comments, and I check my comments every single day. And I try to get to as many as is humanly possible. So this is a beginner class, and I've actually rated this a lower rating just because it's very simplistic. You guys don't even need a traceable because it's just one little arc line across the canvas. And it's going to be fun, chill painting. Let's go over the materials.
Sure. Let me go over here.
I'm going to get teeny tiny.
I was chatting with people, so I couldn't push buttons.
Or disappear entirely. Okay. So the surface today is 8 by 8. I have ordered some 12 by 12 canvases so we can do some slightly bigger pieces coming up. But right now this one is 8 by 8. The basic colors that I have are phthalo blue, phthalo green, burnt sienna, cad yellow medium, cad red medium, quinacridone magenta, dioxazine purple, ultramarine blue, Mars black, and titanium white. Now right here, that's actually not white paint, that's gloss glazing liquid. I love this stuff. If you ever see it available to you in your area, I highly recommend getting it. What it does is it slows down the drying time of paint so you can blend and work paint longer. And it's an extender, which means it makes the paint go further. And it's a glaze. So fantastic all the way around. And it's the one product that does all those things. Really like this that's out there. It's by Golden Artist Colors. It comes in different packaging because they've been producing it for a while, and then they update this. Now this is the optional color. This is Luminous Opera. I know a lot of you guys have the Holbein Luminous colors. This is a great painting for those. What I will say to you, if you've been wanting to paint with luminous colors or neon colors, you really want to get the Holbein version of these because they are the most light fast of all the luminous paints that are out there. They're really like, their testing goes really, really far, and they're fantastic. I will show you like a mix of bright pink that you can do, but we're going to do this for fun in there. You don't have to have this to do this painting though. Not necessary, but if you do, for sure get your luminous paints out. And what's great is they'll glow under black light. So if you ever wanted a painting that glowed under black light, all the flowers would glow. Sort of fun. You guys love that? Fun stuff to begin with?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fantastic.
I'll be putting that out at the end because I'm going to do little touches to make the pink be pop, 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 pop. Shall we put a step up, sir? Now, we do these in steps. You're going to see steps go up. Step 1, and that's going to be time-stamped in the description after the show. And what that does is that creates chapters. So if you're painting along later and you need to find yourself again, makes it super easy. You just have to remember what step you're on, and that way you're not scrubbing the whole video. The other thing that it does is it kind of lets you know sequentially what we're doing in the video. So if you're trying to get a sense of what's involved, that will help you know that. And 7 to 14 days after the show, a written set of instructions that match this video exactly, that match those steps, comes out, and you can get access to that too. So lots of good stuff. Again, no traceable today because it's just a line, and it felt really weird to put out a traceable that was just a line across a canvas. Oh, goodness, Heather C. has been a member for 25 months. And I know I saw somebody join Emoji Club on, not Emoji Club, on patrons of YouTube too. Happy holidays to all. Bad connection here. I'm sure some of you guys are still dealing with the extreme weather and maybe struggling with connections. And I'm super sorry that is going on. My heart is going out to everyone who was caught in the storm. All right. I'm going to just get a big old hog brush, John. This is a number 20 Artini brush. You could use a number 18. I just want a nice big hog brush, and I'm going to put that line in the canvas. What is above shall be the sky, and what is below shall be the flowers. And I'm going to put that line in blue. I'll take a little bit of my phthalo blue and ultramarine blue, and I'm going to come here just a little bit above center And then right here to center, making little lines. And then it's just going to be kind of making a little hill. We made a little hill. Just a little hill. That's all you got to do. That's not too bad, right? And I'm going to take some of my phthalo blue. I like to make sure I wash my brush today so it's a little wet. I'm going to take some of my phthalo blue and add white to it. Kind of brighten that up. And I'm going to come here at the bottom. Kind of paint in a baseline blue sky. It's just a baseline. Nothing too serious yet. Brush strokes aren't that intense or worrisome at this stage. You know, it's pretty good. I don't want to just hit everything green down here because I want to keep some of these areas so bright for the pink. You know, so I can come here and, you know, adjust that line. Now, I get into my white. I've got it loaded on the brush, and I'm going to come on the corner, okay, and make little curving little comma strokes. Look at that. Making little clouds. Just the start of it. I like little comma strokes. So we're working kind of wet into wet here. You can see I'm sort of blending that in. Kind of lightly implying a few wonderful little clouds that go up and down that the rainbow will be over. Just so light at this beginning stage. Okay. Now, we're going to dry our sky completely and rinse our brush and dry it out as much as we can. We're going to hand wring it out. I'm going to use a hair dryer. And if you're painting along at home and you don't have a hair dryer, you can just pause the video and let it dry. But you do want it dry for the next layer.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just checking over here. Looks like we have a pretty good connection for all those. I was just checking our broadcast stream strength. We have a little connection meter that shows all that kind of cool stuff in the back end of it. I was checking for you guys. Thank you so much for all of the support in chat. Heather and Jane. Heather C, thank you guys so much. All the super chat, all the support out there. We really appreciate it. I was just making sure that we had all of our things going as good as we can over here for you. Okay. What's it thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to switch to my round brush.
Okay.
So this is the same brush company, but they make nice big rounds. Rounds are really wonderful like this for clouds. They're really a fantastic brush and a fantastic brush for skies. And we have some fun atmospheric stuff happening here. I'm going to take my phthalo blue, my pure phthalo blue, and I'm going to come up here and very kind of lightly glaze in and paint over this blue, creating that sort of deep sky color. See how that gives us a nice deep sky up in the corners? Kind of haloing that in. I can get a little water on my brush, not too much. And I can come down and kind of paint into the clouds that I've implied. Maybe a little bit of white here, but still kind of blue. We'll come up the opposing end. See right under that white? So we've kind of made this a little bit bluer. See how they sort of bend like that? Then we're going to come a little above these guys, maybe a little more white here. Sort of a nice hazy area. You can see I just use the toe of the brush to create some nice blending. With clouds, what it is if you think of every cloud you've ever seen, clouds are a hot mess. they're very rarely, it's really rare for them to be orderly and patterned. So your big first step when you're doing clouds is just don't make them orderly and patterned. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my white here and a smidge, I know, shocking, of my burnt sienna. And dance my little toe along here. Look at that. These are little curves. They're little commas, little smiles. They're not circles. That's not what we're going to do today. Sometimes we'll do that, but today isn't that day.
Oh man, I forgot to step us. I just looked over and saw it. I'm sorry, that's totally me. I forgot to step us. We're in the middle of step 2, by the way. This is step 2.
Okay.
After the hair drying.
Okay.
I just forgot to put it up.
All right. Now we're going to come above this little cloud. Come up here, kind of implying that little sort of smoggy, distant space. You can even bring some back here. See, I'm just working a little whiter white there. Look at that bank in. Isn't that fun? Now I've got lots of little trees that are going to be coming here. Now I can get way more into my white. And let's, not everything, but some of the clouds add a little lightness there. Maybe at the top. See, we're creating a little bit of focus.
Yeah.
Feather that, sort of lightly blend that in. Clouds have soft edges, so I can blend that light in. Right, coming along that little edge. Put too much paint, and then I can lightly blend that in, creating that little softness. It's easy to get into your head that clouds are super intimidating and hard. And instead of just focusing on the technique that creates them, which is not any of those things, and allows you to paint any clouds that are out there. See how I'm kind of coming around? There we go. That's all it really takes to get in that kind of cloudy sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You can put this down. We're going to dry this.
And yep. So thank you guys for joining us in here. And it's just so nice to get all the peoples in here painting with us. And we'll get I'll get my steps together, as so to speak. So sorry about all that. And yeah, check out our website, theartsherpa.com. If you haven't, you can click the thumbs up thing, because that always helps. Like, you know, something to do while you're bored, waiting for this to dry. Watch paint dry. Click thumbs up. You can subscribe if you like more of this free videos like this. And now a step.
New step.
There we go.
Step 13. There we go. I'm going to take this brush again, and I'm going to grab a little bit of my burnt sienna and my phthalo green. My burnt sienna and my phthalo green. I'm going to make that deep, kind of distant green. It's just on the toe of the brush here. And I'm going to just go ahead and give myself some distant trees. Not dissimilar, as you can see, to what we kind of had going on. With clouds. On this, you want to make sure that their, tree line isn't, orderly. You're not planting rows of corn. Not that there's anything wrong with planting rows of corn. Corn is great. I eat corn. We all like a corn.
But that's not what we're painting today.
That's not what we're doing today. It's really easy to get hung up on this, and my big advice to you is don't. Do your very best to not get hung up on any particular little part of your distant trees. I'm going to add some dark green kind of more at the base. See how I'm doing? So much like everything else, it has little hints of value. That's terrific. That's not bad at all.
No.
Now, we're going to dry this, and when we come back, we're going to start putting in some flowers.
Yeah, so this is just your first little layer of background trees. Actually, I think those are pretty treed in, I think. Got the nice background layer of green trees to set our flowers against. I was kind of looking forward to this one, especially when we get to the rainbow part. Cinnamon was singing before the show. She's pretty excited to get to the rainbow part of all of this, I think. Now
you guys doing good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start putting in our flowers and our bright colors back here. And you really just want to pick a brush. This is actually Simply Simmons. It is also made with a hog filament, but it is a bright. And I'm going to start with a little of my quinacridone magenta. Oops, that's not white. That's blending medium. I didn't really need that, but that's okay. And I'm going to brighten it with just a smidge of white. And you can even add a smidge of yellow to get it into a brighter pink. Now remember, I'm going to come back with my wonderful luminous opera to just pop it, but you can see this is a pretty vibrant pink even so. I'm coming back and forth on the toe, and you know, as I come towards the center, I can add a little more yellow to it. Kind of pulling down all on the edge of the brush. Maybe a little more pink here. Right, just going right over the white. I'm also going to start pulling in little short strokes. See how I'm pulling them down? I'll leave little tiny openings. Right, where I could put some blue in. I'm bringing this over towards the center, and then I'm going to take some of it back. Maybe come on the corner of my brush. Right, these are little flowers, and they're kind of far away, and we sort of see them, but they're not in big focus. Add maybe a little yellow. Right there. I'm going to rinse out. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my green, and I really want this brush rinsed out. I'm going to take a little of my green over to my cad yellow. I haven't even put the burnt sienna in it, which you know normally I do. Right, but I really want to get to a vibrant green. Little short things. I can get a little of that burnt sienna green in now, but see a lot of yellow is in there. Right, even that has a lot of yellow. Kind of pull that down. Even more yellow. And short little brush strokes here. You can pick up little bits of green and kind of weave it in. Just kind of rinse out. I'm going to come really in the center, and I've just got my yellow here. I might add a little bit of white to it just to improve coverage. And this will be such a bright yellow. See how that's very bright in that center. Coming down, kind of weaving in a little yellow here. Loading up a nice amount of yellow. Can you see me pull it kind of good amount of yellow on the brush?
Those are very bright colors.
They're very bright colors, and I'm making tiny little strokes. Super fun. Now rinse that out a little bit. And believe it or not, I'm going to take my ultramarine blue and a smidge of my phthalo blue together. You know, get some white into it so you can see it, because sometimes when they're pure blues, you don't really see it in the same way. And we are going to add some of this. Little short marks. It's wild how it all comes together, isn't it? I'm actually going to dry it from here because it really needs to be dry for the next layer for any of this to work. So we're going to dry it, come back and do the next step.
Just those vivid colors coming in. I like the abstractness of the flowers in the background on this one. I think it's going to look good coming in here. Oh, I like Cinnamon. I like the lace on Cinnamon's dress too, Mary. It's I'll ask her the name of the brush as soon as she comes back here, Darla. See what that's. I don't think I can. I think I know which one it is, but I don't want to say. Which brush was that you were just using?
I was using a number 6 Simply Simmons Hog.
Okay.
So you can get all of these shapes that I have in the Artini brushes because these are a fine art brush. And you can get them in the Simply Simmons, and sometimes it's a good way to start getting your brush bucket together. You can always upgrade later, but this will get you started on a lower price point. So that's why I like to show these are good quality. There's not a lot of good quality economy brushes, but this particular one is a good quality economy brush. I'm going to add a little white to my pink. I'm going to kind of give it a little extra depth. See how we're doing?
Did I just step that?
I hope so. Step it.
I don't. Step that, I think. There we go.
So in here, you know, you can come on the corner of your brush and add little marks of color that are maybe more distant. Take a little bit of my green to my burnt sienna. And mix yellow into that. making short little marks. See, when we do this, what we're talking about is like little distant bits of shadow and personality that are coming out. You know, add a little green there. If you want to, you can get into the yellow and white. And kind of get on the little corner. See, adding some there, and then I'm going to come in and get a little bright green again. So bright. Sometimes I'll add a little white to it. Just enjoy that. Kind of tapping it through.
Yeah, it's a very pretty painting. I mean, it's much poppier in the paint than it is in the concept. I like how much more bright the colors are.
Yeah. Well, we'll get it. We'll get them together.
Oh, I like the way they are. I think it's really pretty.
And come in with a little of our yellow.
Like I could just have a whole field of those abstracty flowers and be fine.
Right, and we're kind of popping in those little bits of yellow here. Tapping it into like where the green is. Very carefully. You know, while we're keeping that center bright, kind of weaving those in together. Sometimes I like to add white to my yellow. Give it a little bit of value. Okay, I'm going to rinse that out. Rinse, 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 rinse. A lot more white into the blue. Kind of create some dimensionality to the blue that you are seeing there. So now we're adding kind of weaving it in. Tap some little blue flowers there. Kind of weaving them in. Maybe bring some of those back into the background. some dark, some light. Now, I'm going to dry all of this. Dry it.
Tried all of it.
Dry it.
I really like how I like these abstract-y little flowers. They seem really nice. Just kind of pleasant field of color. Kind of watching this come together. Look at you guys chat. It's kind of fun just hanging out here on this Thursday afternoon. Get ready for this. I guess it's New Year's. Gosh, man. When is it coming up? I guess it is Saturday. New Year's Eve, Saturday?
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
Sunday that we're all meeting. We're taking your birthday off.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Sunday we're painting the fairy.
Neat.
Which is actually the first of the year. So it was like all kind of worked out.
Okay, hold on a second.
So I have a number 4 round here, and it's just what I want is a good synthetic round. And we're going to start thinking about our rainbow. And the first little color in our rainbow, I'm going to take a little bit of my cad red and some of my glazing medium, right? And I'm going to load it on the toe. And here's a trick. Want to see a trick? When I want to have a good rainbow arch, I'm going to take myself a little guide piece of chalk. And I draw any little arches that I have so that I'm not trying to do it. Well, I'm trying to remember how the rainbow is. I'm going to come up here on the top and arc a little bit of that red. And then as I'm coming at the edges, I can use my glazing medium, as you can see, to kind of lighten it and make it transparent. So it's sort of hidden. It's a little bit there. And I might go ahead and get a little bit of my transparent medium here, because we're going to kind of hint at a couple little, you know, rainbows going back. But they're very light. They're soft. Huh?
Multi-bow.
It's a multi-bow day. Because, you know, why do one when you can do 10? So we're going to take our red and yellow together, and we're going to make orange. This one probably won't need glazing medium, and I'm going to kind of layer them over each other a little bit. There we go, just feathering that out. There we go, just a little. All right, then I'm going to go into my yellow. Kind of strengthen that. If I have to go back into orange and kind of work that there a little bit, I will. You just want to know that it's there at that outer edge. Kind of paint the top of the skin red. So we're just going to be red, orange, yellow, like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do. Now, green is going to be a little bit of phthalo green and a lot of yellow. Kind of brushing that back there. You can do a slight hint here. Kind of pushing those back. Phthalo blue and just a touch of white. And kind of see that I just barely touched the reflected bows. If you need to, you can take a little glazing medium and kind of glaze your bow out. See how I did? Pretty powerful stuff. I am going to treat myself to a little bit of my opera pink. And that's actually going to help me do some interesting stuff with the purple to make it kind of like, what?
All right.
If I can open it.
Need some help with it?
I got it. I used a towel. Is leverage.
Ah.
And as you can see, that's like a next level of pink, right? That's so pink.
It is.
That's so pink, you almost don't even know what pink was before you saw that pink. You're like, I feel like I had seen pink in my life, but now that I've seen that, I'm not really sure that I ever knew what pink was. Another thing I can do is I can do quinacridone magenta and ultramarine blue if I don't have any docs purple. All right, and then I can come in and get a little bit of my kind of little neon-y pink here. Look at how that do. And have it kind of reflecting in that background.
Now, if I paint left-handed, should I make the paint the rainbow the opposite direction?
I think you can make it whatever direction that you want, but I don't know specifically being left-handed should change the direction of your rainbow. However, I am not left-handed, and what I would say is let's have some left-handed people in live chat weigh in.
I think what they mean is like, see how your bow goes from the center to the right?
Mm-hmm.
A left-handed person would be easier to go from the center to the left.
If it is, do that.
Because they'd go whoop.
Right? In all things, when you're doing stuff, you definitely want to make sure that you are doing what makes it easier for you. Right? You don't want to make it harder for yourself. You want to make it easier for you. All right, let's dry this and we're going to call it a step.
There we go. Yeah, I think you could probably do that just fine. Make the rainbow go the opposite direction. You may want to slant the hill, kind of. Like if you were going to do that, if you were left-handed, you might want to mirror this just so that it's the composition of the hill angle stays the same. I don't know if that really would play into it that much, but just a thing to consider. Other than that, yeah, I think you'd probably get away with it pretty easily.
Now, you may want to come in for just catching the pure vibrancy, and then you come back with like a little bit of red. Right? And then where like for some of it, it's just super vibrant. So I might grab some yellow, maybe a little white. Not the whole thing, you're just making it more vibrant. Sometimes that's helpful. I'm going to come in and kind of trim that back. Don't want my bow to get fat in the middle. Not that it matters, but for whatever it's worth. So you can always illuminate and brighten your bow, as much as, is pleasing to you. I'm going to come back still with this round. I'm going to get a little bit of my light green that I made from earlier, which was the phthalo green, the burnt sienna, and a lot of yellow. And I'm going to come in and kind of piece out some of the distant flowers. See how I'm doing? Because that's a super nice thing that you can do at this stage. Mixing them up a bit more. Also, if there's just any areas where I felt like it needed to be painted differently than it was, I can do that at this stage. I'm going to get a little of my white and blue and add some highlights out here. So that my blue isn't just one tone. Now, you could mix a very, you could take your Quin and your Cad Red together and make kind of like this crazy magenta, and you could add white to it to see it, and I'll show you what that would be like, right? Where you create sort of like this saturation on the pink. You could add white pink, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add my opera. Sometimes with the reason that you might do a split palette or you might have a better CMYK palette is so that you can get these more saturated colors. You know, because you can get crazier, brighter magentas sometimes in that. But look at that pink come together. I'm just sort of tapping that up and down. Because I want it to feel sort of woven together. Can you guys see how that's just...
Yeah, Angela was saying that this might be a good place for the golden fluorescent paint.
This is a fantastic place for golden fluorescent. If you don't have the Holbein fluorescent, you can use golden fluorescent. I only use Holbein. I only use golden for fluorescence. It's just... You could use an opera pink if you had that. If you had a really poppy magenta that you've been just like burning a hole in your pocket. And you're like, man, I want to do something with this. See, kind of weaving them in together. All right. Feel like we've got quite a lot going here. And it looks really good. We're going to dry everything and we're going to start to paint forward. Sound good?
Yeah, it sounds good. I love the colors, like I said, on this. So I'm looking forward to the next layers as we move forward. It's so nice and poppin'. Just a really nice, chill evening. Oh, acrylic gouache. I think, yeah, you could use acrylic gouache. That would be, I think they're compatible. Acrylics generally do okay together. Gouache is it's like, for those of you who don't know, gouache, this cool kind of, it's kind of a half watercolor, half acrylic. It's like the in-between step.
What is?
Gouache.
Yeah. Yeah, it has some very similar techniques to acrylic, but it is reactivatable like watercolor. It's water soluble. So it has some, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful, cool. Wonderful medium and very safe for the environment. All right, shall we put in the next? I'm going to come here and get a little of my phthalo green and burnt sienna and start to work in that deep, deep, dark kind of forward space that we're going to be dealing with. Gonna take a couple layers for it to look right, kind of like the rest of it. But I'm just doing vertical strokes, kind of starting to imply everything as I'm going. I can take my green over to my yellow and start to weave in those colors together. Just doing short little vertical strokes. And put out a little more of my yellow because I know I'm going to need it. Where are you, yellow? You're probably the furthest away from me that you could be. Which it was. You guys having fun with this one? I think it's a goofy good one.
I like it a lot.
All right. So I'm going to come here, and this is interesting. I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow and red together. And I haven't rinsed out my brush specifically from my green. Kind of bringing in this warmer underpainting here. And what's great is this does give us, you know, this sort of area where we can blend things in. And let's get a little lighter yellow over here. All right, a little lighter yellow over here, and then we'll kind of work it into the canvas.
Everyone's loving the color on this. I'm not sure if you're seeing the chat and stuff, but they're
you know what? I have been so focused on this painting. Charlotte's having fun with this one. This one, you guys, I do want you to have fun with. I do want you to be playful with, you know?
Yeah.
Let's kind of work some little crazy red in there, building that up. Some strange brew here. Okay. Now, we're going to dry this. Come back, and I'm going to show you a couple cool tricks.
Okay.
They're going to pull it together.
Just a few more little bits there, and we're going to be there. I can see how close you are, and man, it's just been nice hanging out with everybody. And yeah, Deborah, I think you could scale this up. That would be just, might you want to use a larger brush. Small brushes would take a lot longer on a big canvas like that. So generally, if you scale up, your brush strokes and things, you probably would be doing okay. Although, if you really wanted to use the same size brush, it would just probably take a lot longer. That's one of the things I noticed that Cinnamon over the years has said, is that she really had to get bigger brushes to do bigger work. So Deborah was asking about scaling this up.
Yeah, I just scaled the brushes. I think you're right.
Yeah?
I just scalped the brushes. This is like, I almost did this as a 12 by 12, but the canvases weren't here yet, so I did not. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of white on my brush, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to make some little shapes that will be perhaps flowers later. It's also a good time to come here into this middle area where we're going to add some popped yellow, because you need some popped yellow. There's nothing as fun as popping some yellow. Maybe weave some popped pink back here. I'm not painting little star flowers. I'm just painting the shapes, right? It's just a very loose impression of the shapes that the flowers will be.
Right.
And where I know I want to have a bright pop of color, I'm going to put this white. This is a good time to go back into the original construct too, and kind of weave some stuff in there as well. Just bring it down a bit. It's funny how that goes. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little phthalo blue and phthalo green together, and I'm going to make some turquoise.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to get some white involved in that. And I'm going to add a little bit of that here and there to the blue. Because it'll pop really well with the pink. See how that's doing?
Yeah, it really is.
You okay, babe?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've
okay.
just been really enjoying this one, just kind of watching it.
You know, maybe a little more into the phthalo blue.
So what do you think about painting small paintings after painting big paintings?
I think they're, what do you mean, what do I think about that? 'Cause that's,
Well, Lynn was saying, how do you find painting small paintings after you've painted huge paintings? What's your experience?
I think it's easier to paint big paintings, to be honest, in it for me, because I have a lot of stamina at the easel. So if it takes me, 6 to 10 hours, it's not really bothering me. And, when you see the painting from a distance, it really kind of comes together. On a small painting, you have to really pay attention a little more to what you're doing. But when you're a beginner, the opposite is kind of true. Big paintings can become really overwhelming. The canvases are expensive. The investment in time is depleting. The investment in paint and brushes and things are depleting. And sometimes it helps you guys to go small. And also it doesn't take so much space up on your wall, because you only do like so many big paintings in your house, right?
That's
Like
wall
you've got
space,
so much wall
quickly.
space. So these allow you to do more things. I'd say they both have their place. I'd say they're both really, really good to me, but each one has their own value. Let's try this and we'll come back for another step.
All right. Yeah, so yeah, it's I would say that probably the largest casualty in the art world is due to a lack of wall space. There's not enough room to hang the art a lot of times, which is a shame, because there are so many barren walls that should be decorated with artwork. And that's a lot of what really was inspiring for us when we got started, was
Woohoo!
those things. Here's a step for you.
Step 10. All right, I'm going to take my number 6, Simply Simmons. I'm going to just sort of dip it in my yellow. And then come here and sort of tap out some pure cad yellow that is just pure yellow. I go over the white in some areas, and then I might come back and even go over the green. It sort of will blend it in, and that just gives you just a little more vibrancy with that. Now, here's a crazy trick. We're going to take our yellow, if you have it, and we're going to get into our neon color here, and it's going to make a really kind of fun orange that I can weave in. If you don't have that, you just make a regular orange, but look at that orange. It's just really orange. See, very vibrant. So you could just mix cad red and cad yellow, but sometimes it's fun to make a very bright color that surprises everybody. But, outside of that, we do our cad red and our cad yellow to make bright oranges. So there's some cad red. Let's come over here and add some bright reds. Have to come back with some green. Just on the corner of the brush. think I'm going to save the white for my orange or yellow. Now I'm going to get a little bit of yellow mixed in there. Kind of start getting into that orange a bit. Maybe a little yellow there. So going kind of over those little spots, blending that in. Kind of get maybe into my yellow. And you can put your yellow a couple places over the green, but what you'll find is that where the white is where it will be the most saturated. And rinse out. So those are pretty bright little spots that are happening in the garden, and I am digging them. I'm digging them a lot. I'm going to go ahead and get some of my little turquoise here. And I'm going to very carefully touch between some spots. And then maybe get some blue. Let's run some blue down through here. Kind of painting around the yellow. Perhaps filling that in a bit. Kind of working that around. So we're just weaving. We're just weaving it. You got to weave. Sometimes you got to duck and dodge and weave and run around. Now here it's just much nicer. It's just so dark, so we can do kind of our basic little grass stroke here. We can even kind of weave it into the blue here. All right, make sure that that is fairly dark. Let's get some yellow into that. Paint around the flowers. You can always paint up into them, right? Which will break up their line. Oh, thank you, Deborah Evans. I appreciate that. Sneaking a peek at in-laws. Thanks to him and John Mott's happy holidays. Oh, well, I hope you're having a great time. I might come back to, my dark again and kind of work that up in. Maybe a little more brown here. Kind of try to paint around those. And again, I like to go back in and sometimes just weave stuff in and out. Go weave a little brown in and out. See how I'm doing? All right, let's dry that thoroughly, and we're going to come kind of back in and pull it all together.
Okay. Now, just the last couple little flower steps. It is very colorful. I like this too, Shannon. Yeah, it's really nice seeing all this. Sometimes fluorescent paints or iridescent paints can fade with time, Lynn. Generally, it's the reason why she likes golden Holbein is they tend to be very color fast. Keeping them in bright light, sunlight especially, can affect that. So something to keep in mind.
What?
That iridescent and fluorescent paints can fade. The Holbein and golden are better.
Yeah, no, they're much better. I mean, longer than you'll care.
Yeah.
They're fugitive colors, which means eventually they fade. But a lot of times in art, when they're talking about that, they mean it's not archival, like it won't be here 100 years from now, or 50 years from now, or 25 years from now. And so in paintings, that it's super important that they're here and they look like when you painted them, the day you painted them exactly. You got to think about fugitive colors. But in stuff that you're like, oh, it's fun, and it's going to go up and it's going to live with me for a minute, and then I don't know, it's going to go have a life, you don't have to worry as much about those things. So it's good to keep in mind, but don't feel like kind of overwhelmed. I'm using a number 6 round. This isn't a hog bristle. And I'm going to make some orange here, some bright orange with my yellow and red, my cad red. You know, sometimes I'll go into more of an orange there, and I can go over things that I've already painted or go into new things. And you can see I make little pull downs, and that does break up how the blooms are. Sometimes I'm just trying to break up some blooms. This isn't pure cad red, it's maybe more of an orange. I just can loosely mix some yellow on there and push that out and have fun with it. Can have fun with it. I don't know if anybody told you, but you're totally allowed to have tons of fun. I'll go more cad red.
Yeah.
You can pull colors up further into an area. I'm going to bring some red through here. Kind of weave it into there. Maybe down there a little bit. And you can see over the dark, it is much darker, right? That's okay. We don't mind. I can, remember you can always mix cad red and quin magenta and you get some really crazy, wonderful, vibrant colors. To kind of weave that in there. I'm going to come through, and I think I am going to get a little of my wonderful little neon. I wonder if this and ultramarine will make a purple, like a neon-y purple. Oh, it does. It do. Look at that.
That's nice.
Yeah, unexpected. So, because it's kind of in that magenta range. But I don't hate it. Fun stuff. Now I'm going to come back in with just this brush and I'm going to kind of like tap out some just pure yellow. Another thing you can do is you can take yellow and white and make an extra bright yellow. See right there?
I like these little flowers coming in.
Yeah, pop them around. You were looking for light, right? Sometimes I'll go back and I'm like, I'm just thinking about the light coming down. I'm wanting to see that light. You can come back with like, ooh, just vibrant red in a couple spots. See how when you kind of layer it up, it just then it's off the charts there. You know, come weave in some yellow again. And then I'm going to get a yellow orange and kind of work it into my green. Maybe a little more burnt sienna there. Get some of this And what's great is it's okay to pick up paint from like the flowers that are around. Nothing wrong with that. Now rinse it out, wiped it off. Nothing wrong with getting dark up in the front, giving that some drama coming forward. I think anybody would be pretty excited. You know, if I had this like out for sale, I think it would get a lot of attention.
Yeah, I would snatch this up and like this is something like in 24 by 24 over your sofa or in your living room or over your fireplace. You know, you could even
Wouldn't
go bigger.
that just be the most?
You could go 48 by 48. I don't think you could do this too big.
I don't think you could either. I'm going to take a little bit of my quinacridone and my ultramarine blue and get some white involved. maybe I need darks and white. I just want some purple out there. Not everywhere. You know, but some purple. Yeah, rinsed out quite a lot. And I'm going to weave in, since I've got it out, I'm going to weave in some of my opera. Whatever your favorite pink is, it'll work here. Doesn't really. This is your magic garden, right?
Super beautiful.
So you can do what you like. What makes you joyful. You know, find a little moment that pleases your mind. Add a little white to it. Maybe give some of these vibrant blooms a little highlight. I kind of like that light pink quite a lot. That actually
I like it a lot too.
Is really working for me. I'm probably going to overbloom my garden, but you know, it is what it is.
That's okay. They can be here.
Just weaving it through. I'm just touching things with highlights so that I can really get some nice value contrast. And we have some really saturated pinks. I like to get my little saturated pinks on. Touch some distant little, see, just kiss little distant flowers in the background, and then, just good. Okay, I think we got there. We played. We had some fun. We triple rainbowed. I think we're ready to sign it.
All across the sky.
It's just, this is my wish. You've just seen me paint my wish for 2023. This is what I wish for all of us in 2023. Is just that we all have, you know, that after the storm rainbow that just lets us know it's good times right now. It's just going to be just As Stephen King said, rainbow, rainbow, rainbow in fairy tale. It's just rainbow, rainbow, rainbow. I'm gonna be like Jack. I'm just gonna have a nice time with this. And that's a book reference. And we just enjoy ourselves a little bit and have some good things come our way. I think we could all use that.
Yeah.
So this is my wish for us. And the world. I wish the world looked like this.
Me too.
This is my garden. We all have a garden in our mind's eye. A fantasy place where flowers bloom, all seasons of flowers bloom all season. And where color is... Oh gosh, I just love this. This is just super fun. Isn't this super fun?
It really turned out nice.
I really like it. I actually do like it better than the digital. I do.
I do too.
I do. It's very rare that I can outpaint the digital because
I think you do
it's a backlit screen. So like you can get these colors, right?
Oh,
and then you're sitting there as an artist going, okay, now I have reflective color, subtractive. What is going to happen here? It's not additive color. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here and making it great. Yeah, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for making, well, really 2020, 21, and 2022 just possible to get through. I don't think I could have done it without the support of you guys. And I'm really excited. My mom's going to be home soon. I'm really excited about that. We're doing our update video on Ireland. Everything's good, but we'll give you an update on everything that's happening soon. Sunday, because John's birthday is Saturday, Sunday we're going to do our long paint, and that is that gorgeous fairy. She's the New Year fairy. She's got a bright star. I'm just telling you, might have noticed I have some very optimistic paintings coming into January. So hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss it. Again, the color mixing class is coming up, so all this kind of crazy color mixing feels just chill as chill can be. I want you guys to be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and I will see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.